All right, one more time on the, well, I don't know how many times I'm going to be doing this, doing a little intro because you don't know the problems I ran into working on this thing, this 302. But basically, I had messed with the accessories, looking for accessories that would work for this particular engine in the older car. I was running into some issues, cost being one, but trying to find a power steering pump. That one was for a 6-cylinder, had been hacked up, to fit on there. Then V-belt pulleys, and then when I knew I was going to go with air conditioning, and I didn't know what that was all going to take to make it all work. So I decided to use the Lincoln accessories, which I had actually kept and was surprised. I had not only kept them in a crate, but also had all the bolts to them. So I never put any of the videos out, but I bet you I had 5 or 6 videos of probably 2-3 hours long of me fighting, trying to figure out how all this stuff worked. This is a early, what they call 88. The motor was actually built in late 87, and there was a change between those 2 years. The best I can get on the information is that after that they went with a reverse rotation water pump and a single serpentine system. This particular car still used 2 serpentine belts, one for the air conditioning and one for the power steering and alternator. And with that being said, I was having trouble figuring out which way everything turned and belt placement, because this motor also had an air pump that I deleted, so that changed a handful of things. But in the end, I kind of figured out what I was going to do. I just didn't put any of the videos out. It just wasn't worth it. You guys will see when I start putting the engine together and once it's in a car, kind of how I was fighting it, because the air conditioning probably is not going to work anyway when I buy the aftermarket unit. So not sure how it's all going to play out. But for this particular case, that's the reason why when this video started out I had a new timing cover on it, was because I was trying to figure if I could make the mechanical fuel pump work with the power steering pump, and it didn't. So I ended up having to buy a block-off plate, but you'll see that in later videos. But there's also a bunch of garbage in there, and I said something about it being by where the exhaust ports were. It's actually where the intakes were. I don't know what I was thinking, looking at it backwards, I guess. But anyway, I just kind of want to get you an intro. We're starting to tear this 302 apart, and I found a lot more garbage than I wanted, and so it's kind of how it works. But anyway, so on to the beginning of the teardown of the 302.
Okay, we are back again. This time we're going to start engine work. I just pulled all the accessories off because by now you've seen me fight with them for quite a while. I just pulled the bolts off this valve cover. Actually, I did it yesterday. Buddy was over. We were just checking to see how bad it was. It's let me turn around and see what you're looking at here. It's got quite a bit of it's mostly gasket, I guess. But anyway, it's not 100% scary, but I wished it would look better, if that makes any sense. But this is what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it is because I had already planned on, obviously, the pan. I probably already discussed this with you. I don't remember what I have said in the past. That's the problem, is that I do so many videos, talk about it, do stuff, and I don't remember if I actually, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so it's like I got to pull the heads anyway because there was question on water getting in the oil. There was no water in the oil. He said it was getting hot. The thing sat 10, 12 years. We don't know. All I know is it started up, it sounded good, had no piston slap, it did smoke a little, but I attribute that to rings from sitting and injectors stuck and crap fuel and everything that was going along with something that sits for a long amount of time. But the car started every time. It sounded fine once it was running. So I can't answer that, what happened. So heads are coming off, ordered new valve springs, already got the cam, already got the springs, only got some of the retaining clips. I have to go to AutoZone or somewhere. Apparently there is a difference between intake and exhaust springs. I don't know why Ford did that, but they did. I already got a timing set. I got an oil pan, pickup tube. I got a low carb dipstick. I have to get a block off plate for this because it will not work with the power steering. We've already been through that. So I've just brought you back, even though I know I've already kind of started on it. I really haven't done anything that you already haven't seen besides take the valve cover off. I don't remember if I showed you putting this on or not, the timing cover. But anyway, I did have to start every one of the bolts first because they were sort of fighting each other a bit. So keep that in mind. I don't remember if these are 1/2 inch or. And don't be surprised because there are a lot of these bolts that are different sizes. I think I've already been through this. I've already probably cussed it on camera. You gotta remember I started this a month ago or so. I don't know how long it's been, to be honest with you. By this point, front end's mostly together. A lot of other stuff is done, parts have ordered. I could do a cost analogy for you, but right now it's not worth it because I'm still ordering, waiting for parts. Yeah, matter of fact, I know I showed you this because of how sloppy the timing chain was. I do remember this. So, anyway. I don't remember tightening that up. I think I did so that the water wouldn't get in when I washed the engine. So right now we're just doing kind of a basic teardown. I want to get to the point where the heads are off. Oh, I've also got a distributor. And yes, apparently they're specific for this. I might keep this in here. Same with the bolts for the. I ordered an intake manifold from Jegs. I think I said Summit last time, but it was actually Jegs. And they said it was back ordered up. It probably was when I ordered it. It doesn't matter. I have had no word whether it's actually coming or not. I just don't know. Wow, never seen a timing chain bottom one get that loose come off easy, but I guess I have now. Well, I say that. I probably have seen it. Okay. Well, come on now. I knew it was going to be too tight. Hang on, I put all my tools up. I kind of have to clean the garage. It's not perfect. Okay. I haven't checked the timing chain to see if the timing gear. Let's see if it has a place for that. Like I said, I think it's a fuel pump rod. Makes sense because it would come in right here. I've not seen them like this. Most of them don't look quite like that, but doesn't mean it is or isn't. Doesn't matter. Not, you can't use it anyway. Let's see. Where's my prying tool? Crap. I think it's out in the shed. Yes, this is now a prying tool. Well, maybe it's a prying tool. To my right should be turned at. Don't know. Oh well. Just seeing if it was in time. I guess I should have checked that prior to taking it apart, but it doesn't appear to be, but it had to be. Well, I say it had to be. I mean, don't know. It's not really lined up, but I may have turned it or something. I don't know. I'm not arguing with it. It ran. So, This has a retaining plate because it is a roller engine, but we're not pulling that off yet. I'm gonna leave it. So let's get to the top here. Oh, don't dump everything. Gonna tighten all that up? No. Taking the fuel rail off just to get it out of the way. Anyway, so depends on what the top of the cylinders look like and what pull the oil pan, which I know we've already been through this, and I've said this before. I know that somebody's been in here before because of the goop, and the car said 136,000, but you know, to be honest with you, it doesn't go more than that. You know what I mean? It only goes to that point. It doesn't show. Well, no, it does show. Those years still show. So it's not like 200,000 miles. It was 100. So anyway, thinking out loud and thinking it accurately. That's kind of the story of my life. All right. I just don't get it. Go out and get my. No, it's because it's raining and cold out. That's why. Four bolts hold the rail on. Probably already been through this. I don't know. Some of them actually came apart, left parts of them inside. It's kind of these years the pickups were worse. Well, maybe it's because they got used more. They usually could have more miles on them. I replaced several sets of injectors on Ford pickup truck, especially with the 302s. Not so much the 351s, but the 302s. I did a couple of the V6s also. Like I did a well, both of them were they were both 2.9s. Or was the other one a 3-liter? You know what? I don't remember. It doesn't make any difference. But anyway, yeah, they actually left parts of I see O-rings. I see the bottom spray cap nozzle-y things. Some of them are stuck in. Matter of fact, I think all of them on this side are. Don't know. Okay. On Ford, they don't use adjustable rockers. You just tighten them down, and they come off in pairs. It looks like. But I feel like this thing is a little bit facing my direction a little bit more. Oh, I see Hurt Road all over this when it decides to turn on its own. I know I keep walking in front of the camera. I suck. I got it. I don't remember loosening them, and well, that only had a thread in it. Noise. Lost the nut. Ain't very tight. Just stomped on something. Probably shouldn't have. I might have to put this screwdriver back in this thing because I got a feeling I'm going to have to start jerking on this thing. Put this back in there, I guess. Let's see here. I need to get off my lazy button to go get my. Not bad. Probably was leaking a bit then. Came off a lot easier than I thought it was going to. Could have been sucking air. It seemed to run fine, like I said. one intake manifold. Ah. Well, let's see how bad it looks inside. Yeah. Got more garbage in it than I like. One side appears to be worse than the other. Looks like a lot of carbon bled through on the exhaust ports, like it got really hot and actually cooked the oil. Yeah, I'm glad I'm pulling this apart. Oh boy, I see a coolant passage half blocked too. China rail looks like it was about to give up the ghost. Let me show you. So, this is what I'm talking about. Everywhere, I got the thing upside down. Everywhere underneath here, look at that big old chunk of garbage. This is even worse. Look at that one. This is all carbon buildup. Like this side was actually running hotter than the other side because the other side doesn't have it. Everywhere there was an exhaust port though. It was under this. You can't see it very well, but that's the same way. Look at that. Yeah, that's no good. See this in that China rail. Look at that gasket. It was oozing out. She was just about, if not sprung a leak, was just about to. But this side, I know it's darker, but I'm not seeing that. Yeah, it still sort of does, but it's not near as, yeah, you know, I kind of lied. It's, yeah, it's about the same. Well, I guess where I'm getting at is for no more than it would cost for a set of rod ring, main bearings, and an oil pump, I might as well just go ahead and, you know, rebuild the whole thing. I wasn't going to because my thought was, and I may have said this in a previous video, I don't know. My thought was people who bought these Lincolns back in the day knew weren't going to be kids going out drag racing them. You know what I mean? So these usually were low mileage engines or very well maintained, you know, that kind of stuff. And an 88 only having 130,000 miles on it, you know, that was pretty low miles when you really put the pencil to it. But if you don't change oil enough or you just idle around town, that's one of the worst things that could happen to an engine is start it up, immediately take off, don't ever let it get hot and shut it back down again, you know, mile or two down the road or whatever. That is so hard on these engines. And that to me was the biggest downfall for that 5.7 Olds diesel that came out back in the late 70s. Those were mostly bought by older people because they were in Oldsmobiles and, you know, they were in big cars. And to me, that's kind of what the problem was they were never given a fair chance. I'm not saying they were good engines. I'm just saying that a lot of the ones we were around were because, you know, older people had them and they would start them up and go to the beauty shop, you know, 3 blocks away and then shut it back off again and never allow it to get hot. Well, diesel really needs to get hot. So let's take us to the valve cover off. It's actually one of the reasons I don't own a diesel now. My wife 1 mile from work, I'm 3 miles from work. Takes me 10 minutes to get to work. Takes her about 3 or 4. So, I mean, why buy a diesel? It's going to be a waste. It's hard on them. In my opinion. Besides that, you've seen that biodiesel they're using now. Believe me, we sell it. I don't like it. And I use diesel. I use just regular old number 2 diesel or regular diesel you'd buy at a pump. I use that in my parts cleaner over here. This side doesn't look as bad. It's a little darker on the back for some reason. Again, possibly heat from whatever that is. That is so gross. Yeah, that's all I can say. Anyway, let me get snot right here. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to keep harping on that kind of stuff. But diesel, like I said, I don't care for that. You know, they made it low sulfur, which ruined it. And then now they're going with bio, which I was hoping we weren't going to get involved with at the refinery, but guess what? It's not a huge percentage, but what I use in there, diesel that sits, can actually get an algae built up in it. It's usually when they sit. Like my RV, for instance, is a diesel. I guess I shouldn't say I don't have a diesel. I do, but it sits 6 months. I go up there and fire it up every once in a while, but what I run, 15, 20 minutes, stink up the whole building and shut it off. Now we did actually take it camping the other day. Drove it about, not very far, but drove it and demiced it, even though it's indoors. It's not maintained well as far as the mice thing goes. So I'm going to try to set these where I remember where they go, but if I see anything on the push rods even remotely look like crap, I'm gonna replace it anyway. So I'm gonna line them up on the table here. Why am I got this timing chain up here? What do I want it for? Idiot. So anyway, guys, what I keep getting at and keep getting off track here is that the diesel I've used this last time that has bio in it, because I got it here local, it has a funny smell to it. It cleans okay for the most part, but it's not, something's not the same. You know what I mean? I can tell that it's not the same. So nothing I can do. I mean, way of the new world. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not against, and I said this before probably too in other videos, I'm not against electric cars. Matter of fact, I'm not against anything that's a hybrid of any type that will actually do its thing, actually work and stuff. The problem is, this happens so often, is that the batteries aren't built here, they're built overseas, because the EPA wouldn't allow that kind of crap to be built here, and everybody knows by now that most of that stuff is in countries that, you know, apparently we're trying to pull out of, or we already have, or now we've realized we made a mistake. I don't know, whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get politic on everybody, but that's the problem though with the back in order with the battery stuff, is that this stuff is made all overseas, and once it goes bad, and there are companies and people out there that are what they're telling you is that they're taking batteries and they're what I'm going to call them, rebuilding them, remanufacturing, rebuilding, something. Well, that's somewhat accurate, and I don't know everything. This is more of how I see it, and talking to a few people who's been around it, is that the biggest thing they're doing, it's a big old head bolts, is they're basically taking like 8 or 10 battery packs out of 8 or 10 different cars, and then they are taking the battery packs clear apart, getting the best of the best, and then they're putting them into 1 or 2 batteries. That's how they're doing it. They're not necessarily, I mean, it's better than throwing them all in the trash. I'm not arguing that it's not a better idea than, than some of the stuff we're doing. But I'm gonna try to go backwards. This stuff's all cast iron, so you know what I mean. It's not like we're nothing aluminum to cast iron. Oh, that does not feel very tight. And I'm probably not doing this in very much order, you know, very good order either, but I'm gonna do it somewhat. But anyway, guys, what I'm getting at though is that I'm not against that stuff, but we really are not designed yet to take care of a lot of that stuff as far as long-term, you know, managing the waste and the, you know, that kind of stuff. I think we're still kind of still a little lacking in that point. And like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's just we are. I think we're jumping the gun saying we all have to. And I'm telling you, those hybrids been out for a long time. You know, we're talking. Well, technically, they've been out for 100 years. A lot of people just don't know that. Is that there was actually electric cars back. I think it was the 20s, teens or 20s. I know. Yeah, they were experimenting with everything because they weren't making gasoline then. You know, not like we do now. So, you know, there wasn't refineries then, really, and so they were running off of whatever they run off of. But in a lot of cases, they, you know, of course, steam, but still required a fuel oil to fire the boiler to heat the water to make the steam. But anyway, I guess I probably ought to shut up about it. But come on. But anyway. Chances are I'll end up with one day, you know what I'm saying? Some type of a hybrid. Was it 11/16? Matter of fact, if you really think about it, it'd be ideal for us to have one for my wife, only living a mile from work. So our town's small, it's got less than 10,000 people in it. And so driving to like Walmart or wherever is only about 3 or 4 miles, 4 maybe. So, you know, it's not like you, let me see if these are all the same length. I say that has moisture in it, but mind you, I washed them. Yeah, those are, got something in them. Hopefully not cast iron. Looks like some type of a sealant. Same way. Guess we have different lengths on everything here. Those come apart easy. Does Ford have a... I guess I should turn this engine over a bit because I don't know if they've got... Surely they got pins on it. It's been so many years since I rebuilt a Ford engine. I mean years. The last one I did, I was still with my ex-wife, and I've been married 18 years this time. So it had to be 20 years probably. Anyway, I'm going to take these heads down the machine shop, obviously, and have them, I want to come out of there, have a magnaflux them and stuff to see if there's any crackage or any issues or whatever, and then we will decide from there whether I just go find some HO heads or GT40 heads or whatever. I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind. I'm not against running these little wimpy heads. I'll probably, if they're okay, I may port match them a little bit with the gaskets, you know, just to kind of help with flow. But this is never going to be, like I said, a race car. There's no reason to even pretend it's going to be. Let's see, we give us lots of places to pry on. Here's one. That's on a rail gasket. Holy cow, that thing was petrified. I mean, petrified. Where are you at? You're not even looking at anything anymore. What happened to you? I mean, it is just terrible. Yeah, let's see if we can get this off here. Come on. Oh my goodness. Well, it ain't very light. They all look carbon the same. It's had a little bit of moisture in it again. I washed it. And I'm sure a little bit got in it. But I also sprayed some lube in there just to make sure that it wouldn't, I'm not seeing anything absolutely terrible. Trying to get this head gasket off and take a peek at it. I'm not seeing anything that tells me it was leaking anywhere. So yeah, I bent this up, so don't. No, it don't look bad. Doesn't look bad. Get this back over. Something is filling my boot up, sounds like. Alright, walking in front of the camera for the 400th time. That one was super loose. Wow. Oh my goodness. Did I loosen these already, guys? I must have. I'm losing my own mind. Yep, I remember now. Sitting there talking about one thing and thinking about another, not paying attention to what I'm doing. Hack! The end bolts on the other. Yeah, one had a. Got some cleanup to do, that's for sure. There's garbage falling out everywhere. Alrighty. It also looks about the same as far as everything. It almost like it was running a bit fat. Get my gloves off here, so I'm not grabbing the camera. Dirty. That's the passenger side. And I know it's darker, but it's the driver's side. It looks exactly the same as far as, you know what I mean? It doesn't, nothing seems, matter of fact, I still see some of the top of the pistons. I mean, I didn't run any cleaner in it really. No, I mean, not definitely in the cylinders. I think I might have sprayed a little spray in there just to keep it from, that's what that is there, what you're seeing. Is I just shot a little bit of that lube in there just to make sure the cylinder walls didn't get, if they got any moisture in it, it wouldn't hurt them. That's all that is. Oops, not looking at it. Oh, this thing's actually looks good. Like I said, I didn't hear any piston slap, and that's kind of a normal Ford thing, especially in the trucks. Once they got some miles on them, you hear some piston slap. The 52 MG I have, it's got that 2, 3, 4 cylinder in it. That's always had piston slap in it, always. And the LS motors do too. I'm not saying that's a Ford problem. LS motors all do when they get miles on them. Every one of them I've been around, once they get some miles on them, they'll start doing it. But anyway, well, got to pull the oil filter, got to pull the motor mounts I never have done yet, and then I'll probably go ahead and pull the oil pan. But at this point, I think I'm going to shut this video down. I may add to it, may not, I don't know. But if anything, I'll bring you back on the next one.